Hey guys, what's going on? I just wanted to give anybody who's watching, I guess, a update on my surrogacy process. So today is, sorry, I should have had this ahead of time. Today is May 14th, so my baby is now 10 weeks. So we're 10 weeks into the process. For the last weekend or so, I've been going through it, and I'm going to explain why. I've been debating whether or not to make a video about this, but at the end of the day, I'm hoping that this video helps other people. So I'm going to talk my story and hope that it helps other people at the end of the day. If my daughter sees it, I don't know, maybe I'll take it down. But so here's the deal. So after my surrogate was approved to, after she had her final ultrasound, she was released from IVF care, which is what typically happens. So she had a 6-week ultrasound and she had an 8-week ultrasound. After that, in this process, the IVF doctor or the IVF clinic, I guess you can say, discharges her and then transfers her to her OBGYN. So, in regards to the OBGYN, I got an email from my how can I describe it? From my surrogacy agency, and they told me what the next steps are going to be. They warned me, and the clinic also warned me that this part of the process is going to be a little bit harder for me to find out information because my surrogate is the client and I am not the client. And that's totally understandable. I work with HIPAA and I understand how HIPAA works, so it's not that big of a deal. As long as my surrogate is pregnant, or if you're going through this process, if your surrogate is pregnant, and she's discharged to the OBGYN, the information is considered confidential unless your surrogate is present. So if I wanted to call the doctor and find out, hey, what's going on with the doctor can't tell me anything unless the surrogate is there on the phone or in person. So that's one thing I had to deal with, which I don't see that as a big deal. I feel like I have a good relationship with my surrogate, and we keep in communication. We talk, I want to say, at least once a day. Mostly me reaching out, but she's very good. She reaches out to me and lets me know, hey, it's 9 weeks, baby's doing good, just to let you know. So that was that part. Then there's part 2 in the email, and it talks about, and I actually have it in front of me, and it talks about the next stages of the process and whether or not I want to do 2 tests in particular. So these are non-invasive tests. The purpose of these tests are to see if the baby has any developmental disabilities such as Down syndrome. This is where shit became a little bit more serious to me because I guess I wasn't considering this, considering the fact that my embryos were tested. I did not think that anything else would be, I don't want to say wrong, but would be unhealthy. I did some ChatGPT research, which is probably not the best, and I found out part of the information that the surrogacy agency, I should say, is trying to tell me. So back to what I was saying. So there's 2 tests that they want to do. The first test could be it could be an ultrasound. It has to be done before the 13th week. And then there's a second test that's part of this test. So it could be an ultrasound or it could be a blood test. This blood test is called NIPT. It's something I've never heard about before, something the surrogate's never heard about before, something my mom has never heard about before, something that no woman I know has ever heard about before. And the reason why is because if you're having a natural pregnancy, this is not something that, I guess, well, there's 2 reasons. It's not something that would probably it would be monitored normally, I guess, through ultrasounds, But for a second reason, I guess if you have the money, if you're a rich person, which I am not, but I was blessed to be able to afford this, um, you can get this blood test. And the blood test is more accurate than the ultrasound in detecting whether or not my child would have Down syndrome or any type of developmental disability such as that. So let's just pause right there, because I can create a whole video in itself on whether or not that test is, you should take the test, you should want to find out, you should not want to find out, when you do find out, what decisions you have to make. I'm not here to debate that. I already have in my head what I'm going to do and what choices I'm going to make. So I'm just going to put that to the side and let you know what the facts are. There's also a second test, which is week 18 to 22, which I think is a normal test. It's called second trimester screening, which is a high resolution ultrasound and additional lab work. And then they go on to say that if any of these tests come back negative, or if there's anything wrong, then they'll do what's called an amniocentesis, which is where they stick that really long needle into the surrogate's belly, I should say, and not something anybody I think wants to do. So that's part of the process. That's what's been going on in my particular process over the last week. My surrogate has chosen her doctor, and we have an appointment on May 30th, I believe, or May 31st. So we'll take it from there. I do want to say the whole purpose of this whole NIPT test and me making this video is because it kind of threw me off. I was having a very positive experience. I wasn't questioning anything. I was happy. And then I found out about this test, which again, most people wouldn't find out about, because it's not necessarily a normal test. But I found out about it, and it put me in a little type of mood, and it took me a couple days to get out of it. I want to thank my mom, who told me to just stay present and be positive, which I have been doing this whole time. And that's what's been helping me the whole way. So I post this video to anybody that's watching this or going through the process to let you know that just another hurdle to expect. I wasn't expecting it. I don't want you to not expect it. And I hope that you make whatever decision that is appropriate for you. I will continue to post, and we'll take it from there. But 10 weeks, I think that's a big milestone. So I'll speak to you soon. Please like and subscribe my video. Bye.